Well, here we are, boys and girls. The regular season of fantasy football is over, which means playoffs are upon us. Before I preview the two coming matchups, I want to take a few minutes to recap the bottom of the league standings. Starting from the bottom, we have Ramrod. He finishes second to last in points scored. With an injury-riddled season, Ramrod could never get any momentum, as he failed to win back-to-back games all year. A lot of bad luck could be to blame too, as he was second in points scored against him. Finishing in ninth was the Dollmaker, who also had only 3 wins this season. She had a couple of dominant victories, which gave her a few more victory points than Ramrod. She finished a respectable 7th in points scored and 5th in points scored against. Rounding out in the 8th spot is the Capkillers, who started strong out of the gates, winning his first 2 games. Unfortunately, he lost 6 of his last 7 to end the season with a whimper. He was a solid 6th in points scored against him, but was dead last in points scored. Finishing just outside of the playoffs is the Hooligans, who occupied this spot for the latter half of the season. He had a couple of clutch wins earlier in the season which kept him in contention, but a crushing blow by the hands of the red-hot Dak Street Boys in Week 11 derailed any hopes of a playoff spot for him. And I quickly got to mention the Pick'em League, as it's really getting interesting. It was a 2-person race for the last 5 weeks, but bad weeks for both the Capkillers and Dollmaker have allowed half the league within striking distance, including the A-Leaf Gamblers, who is in second place tie with the Dollmaker. Should be a fun finish. Okay, now let's preview some playoffs. First of all, congratulations to that Asian guy on a dominant first place finish. His spot was never really in any jeopardy, and he will take a $100 first place prize and a first round bye. And good job K-Express on securing the second place spot as well. He will gladly take a $50 prize and a first round bye as well. In the first of 2 playoff matchups, we have the 4th place A-Leaf Gamblers making his 4th fantasy football playoff appearance, taking on the Goblin, who is making his first playoff appearance. This one is just tough to predict. With the Goblin only a 1-point favorite to win, the result could be anything. I will give a nod to the Goblin on the quarterback position, as Russell Wilson is averaging 5 points more a game than Kirk Cousins. Both teams have scored within 50 points of each other all season, so this may be a nail-biter. The second matchup has yours truly taking his 8th fantasy football playoff appearance, taking on the Dak Street Boys, making his 12th fantasy football playoff appearance. This is probably the more intriguing of the 2 matchups, as the Dak Street Boys went from basement dweller in Week 9 to securing a playoff spot just 3 weeks later. He's outscored the Mario and Luigi's by 40 points in the regular season, but he also has 130 points more scored against him, which explains his sub-average win-loss record. Dak Street Boys is a 10.5-point favorite to win, and it's hard to argue the fact, as he definitely has the upper hand in quarterback and wide receiver positions. Mario and Luigi's has a better core of running backs, but will it be enough to stop the red-hot momentum of the Dak Street Boys? So with that said, congratulations to the top 6 teams, and may the best Mario and Luigi win.